Good morning. It's springtime when an old man's fancy turns to thoughts of baseball. So let's talk some baseball anime.
Touch.
So, what better anime to watch during the beginning of the baseball season than Touch, based on Mitsuru Adachi's classic sports manga? Touch was a TV series in the mid-1980s. Each of the 3 seasons were summed up in its own movie, and it's those movie versions that I'll be looking at today. The first movie is titled Ace Without a Number. 3 longtime friends are starting as freshmen at Meisei High School. Kazuya and Tatsuya are twin brothers. Manami has been best friends with both of them for like forever. Each is trying to decide which after-school club or sport to try this year. Kazuya and Manami decide on the baseball team. He's going to be a pitcher, and Manami's going to be a manager and scorekeeper. They try to talk the ambivalent Tatsuya into joining them in the baseball team with them, but for some reason Tatsuya drifts into the boxing club with his friend Harada instead. Well, Kazuya turns out to be a lot better at pitching than Tatsuya is at dodging punches. Kazuya's goal is to pitch his team all the way to Koshien, the National High School Championship Tournament. Tatsuya's goal is to survive in the ring. Despite that montage, this is far more of a baseball story than it is boxing. Otherwise, J-Mo would probably be doing this review. I don't think I'd call Touch a romance either, but the relationship of Manami to her 2 twin brother friends is still very important to the story. They've all been best friends since they were toddlers, with the sort of easy relationship that they can drop in at each other's homes at any time and say hi. Both of the boys have figured out that this triangle can't go on forever. Most of the baseball team thinks Manami and Katsuya are already a couple. Tatsuya seems to think so too, which is probably why he took up boxing instead. Manami doesn't agree, however, and she fiercely insists on keeping an equal friendship with both brothers. She just can't explain this concept properly to the boys. And since the ball games and the boxing matches are both after school, she usually can't go to cheer Tatsuya on in his boxing matches because she's busy with baseball. Unless it rains. The first movie ends rather sadly. The second movie, subtitled The Farewell Gift, takes us to the next season and another baseball season. I'm going to be a little vague here so as not to spoil the first movie. Tatsuya joins the baseball team this year, taking after his brother. Manami takes up a sport of her own, gymnastic dancing, and she does pretty well at it. But she still wants to be part of the boys' baseball team, too. She's also started collecting suitors from rival baseball teams, though not in a Susan Sarandon sort of way. Nita, the slugger from a rival high school who was the last batter in that first movie, is back in both an on and off-field role this time around. He even takes a swing at becoming friends with Manami. Meanwhile, Tatsuya's preoccupation with matching his brother's success on the diamond is becoming an unhealthy obsession. Well, but at least it's not steroids. For her part, Manami may have to choose between being a gymnastics star or set women's lib back by becoming the baseball team's manager's secretary again. And she may also need to choose a boyfriend, or she can hold out for a hot Yankee infielder. Of course, there'll be plenty of baseball action as the ace of Meisei High School will face off against slugger Nita for the finale of the season. Third movie, After You Pass By, brings us back for yet another season of high school baseball. It's lucky the whole league seems to have been freshmen when we started, so they can all come back for a third year. What were the odds? This time, the coach is ill, and a replacement coach arrives to take over the team. This plot so reminded me of Aim for the Ace, but with bats instead of rackets, both in story and character art. It's also the movie that's most focused on the baseball and less on the characters off the field. I thought the third outing was easily the least original and weakest of the 3. Both the Touch TV series and its 3 movie retellings were directed by Giguro Sugi. He also wrote the screenplays for the movies and most of the TV series. Sugi also brought Mitsuru Adachi's 9, another baseball manga, to anime. He's also brought Kenji Miyazawa's sublime Night on the Galactic Railway to anime. For the movie version of Touch, he's wisely narrowed the scope of the movie to just a few key points and characters. That means the movies can stand well on their own. You don't feel you need to go back to the TV show or the manga to figure out who's who or what's going on. Though, neither of those is a bad thing to look at. Like baseball itself, the movies are completely unhurried and take a leisurely pace to leave plenty of time for the suspense to build. Director Sugi has also gone with minimal dialogue, preferring to use visuals to tell his story, and he lets us figure out what's going on for ourselves. If you want to know who's winning, check the scoreboard. That gives us several musical interludes that still manage to advance the story with just the artwork. Sugi likes the quiet little moments as much as the action, or, in the spirit of the show, he likes to play small ball instead of swinging for downtown every time at bat.
どうすればいいのよ。
そうだな。こんな時、優しい女の子なら黙って優しくキスするんじゃないか。
There are no bad guys in Touch, no bullies, no nasty rivals. It's all about good sportsmanship. The art is plain and simple, but the character art reflects Adachi's original art style. I'm always amazed how easy it is to tell the twins apart. Katsuya always seems to have a quiet confidence to his expression, while Tatsuya always seems he's a little lost. And I suppose it helps they comb their hair slightly differently too. Despite the abundance of baseball, these stories are focused mostly on the characters, and especially Tatsuya. I give Touch 4 stars for sports fans, less for those who are interested in other kinds of anime or action stories. It's a fine baseball story, and the 3 movies make a fine afternoon triptych. Sadly, none of them have ever been licensed in the US. Mitsuru Adachi's manga have also spawned other anime series such as Touch, H2, 9, and Slow Step, none of which have ever been licensed in the US either.
Thanks for listening. Now play ball.